Maybe it was an omen. On May 13, 1918, the Post Office announced it would begin regular airmail service between Washington and New York. It then told the pilots who'd fly the mail that they had 5 days to build the planes and ready them for service. That same day, it issued a 24-cent airmail stamp for this new service. Most interstate mail was carried by train in those days. Early airmail delivery wouldn't have been much faster, certainly not worth more than a 3-cent first-class stamp. Besides, the stamp didn't inspire confidence. The original printing showed the mail plane flying upside down. The post office hurried a corrected version into production. Meanwhile, pilots under the command of Major Reuben Fleet worked day and night to get the planes ready. 2 were scheduled to fly on May 18th, including one from Belmont Racetrack in New York. Meanwhile, in Washington, D.C., President and Mrs. Wilson and other officials gathered to watch the other plane depart from Potomac Park. Major Fleet, shown here talking to Wilson, had succeeded in getting the Curtiss Jennies ready in time, but the post office didn't choose him to take the first flight. Instead, they chose George Boyle, seen in the middle here. His chief qualification seems to have been his engagement to the Commerce Secretary's daughter. At 11:47, Boyle climbed into the cockpit with a stack of state highway maps and took off, heading for a refueling station in Philadelphia. He decided to follow the railroad tracks out of the city, but quickly realized he was heading south, not north. After 18 minutes of trying to find his way, he decided to land in a field and ask directions. But when he landed, he turned the Jenny over on its nose. At least it now resembled the first airmail stamps. Airmail service could only improve from this point. The New York airmail arrived in D.C. later that day, and the post office soon expanded its airmail service. A year later, the Post reported that airmail had enabled news of the Dempsey-Willard boxing match to travel from New York to San Francisco 24 hours faster than by train. Boyle, by the way, asked for another chance to fly the mail. He took off 2 days later with another plane guiding him part of the way. Once on his own, though, he soon got lost. After nearly flying into the Atlantic Ocean, he eventually crashed near the Philadelphia Country Club. Again, he walked away. He asked for a third chance but was turned down. Major Fleet decided 2 of the post office's 6 airplanes was enough to spend on Boyle.